That's 3 4-game winning streaks for your team since mid-January.
Yeah, we have to keep stringing them together. I mean, if you look at one of the issues that we've had is a little bit of the consistency the other way, where we've had a few losing streaks as well. But I really like the way we're playing now because I feel like it's more sustainable and it's a pretty solid team game. So we were happy with our effort tonight.
On Saturday, obviously, you played a pretty physical, emotional game in Edmonton.
Yeah.
This was a completely different style of game. Did it hearten you to sort of see your team find a way to win a game that's completely different than the game they just played?
Yep, and when you play against LA, because you don't see the 1-3-1 a lot, sometimes it can give teams some trouble, but I was really happy with the way our guys prepared for it, and they executed tonight, which was nice to see.
You guys had a pretty good first period, and then they score, and you guys respond almost immediately. Is that something that you can rely on, this group, just sort of knowing how to respond to those tough moments at this point?
Well, I think they believe they can respond, yes. Getting it back right away, I think, helped, scoring right away in that situation. You know, we talked a little bit about LA and the way they play. When they get up, they become harder to play against. So it was nice to see us kind of score and then get the goal that put us up. So I know, like I said before, it was a good start for us. I thought we controlled a lot of the play tonight, zone time in particular, and it was a good way for us to finish it off.
How would you characterize the role Markstrom played today?
I thought he was awesome. It's hard on goalies when they're quiet in the first period. Like, they didn't get tested a lot, so he had to keep his mind the right way. And I thought when called upon later in the game, he made some big saves for us.
Just talking about those winning streaks, but is this the best that you've seen your group put together in a stretch this season?
Probably, yeah. I mean, because we're doing things the right way. And it's not just one guy that's contributing. Jacobs had a huge impact in it. Vladdy had a huge impact in the game in Edmonton. But it's been a team game where I think we've played with pace. I think we've played hard, and we've executed, which has allowed us to win these games.
Is that what you mean when you say you feel like this is sustainable, the way your group's playing right now?
Yeah, because it's not just one line carrying you, or it's not one player that you're relying on. It's more of a joint effort, I guess you can say.
This is 4 in a row now against teams in playoff positions, good teams in the league. Do you see a noticeable bump in confidence? Like, is there a tell that this means something to your group?
Oh, it most definitely means something to us for sure. But as funny as it sounds, the stretches where we have dropped a few games, their mood or energy or belief in themselves around the room hasn't changed. And I think it's the same now. You're coming towards the portion of the season where everything matters, and I think our older players, as we've talked about before, are raising their level, and they're being guys that can be counted on to bring other people along.
You've been around Andrew Mangiapane a lot in his career. 400 games for him. He scores a big goal for your team tonight. Just talk a bit about what it's been like to see him grow to what he is today.
Yeah, well, there's the few of them, Andrew, Oliver, Raz, how I've been around, I feel like forever, and they probably don't like it, but I do. I think they're great players, and for Andrew to be at 400 is probably a level that as a young guy he probably never thought was possible, or other people maybe didn't. He probably believed in it and hoped that he would get to that point, but he's a competitive guy, and he wants to help the team win, and if that means it's him scoring a goal or killing penalties or getting chances on the power play, that's what he's willing to do. So it's nice to see him get the 400-game mark.
You mentioned the older guys raising their level, and you've talked about sort of leadership within this group so many times, but there's so much of leadership that we don't get to see. So just what has it meant that those guys have they have elevated their game? We've seen Coleman, Kadri, Backlund sort of step up in a real way on the ice.
It becomes big boy hockey now, and they understand that. So there's a different way the game is played, and it's harder along the walls, it's harder at the net front, and sometimes a younger player has to see, and they have to be put in those situations to get that experience where the older guys have done it before. And Cads has won Stanley Cup, Coles has won 2 Stanley Cups, and he understands that even at that level, there's significant difference. So you see them raise it at this time of the year because they know the stakes are a lot higher.
Can you talk about the night Sharangovich had both the goal and the missed assignment on their goal?
It's nice for him to get it back. I mean, he made a great play on the change. He cut the pass off to start with, and then he just fumbled it a little bit. But the part you want to see him fix is getting beat back to the front of the net. But I thought he's done a really good job for us since we've asked him to play in the middle of the ice. He's been responsible defensively, and he's still that line's developing a little bit of chemistry, in particular him and Jonathan, and to see him score tonight the way he did was a big moment for our team for sure, but I know it'll allow him to sleep a little better tonight as well.
Is the defensive responsibility the biggest change for him going from wing to center?
Yes, I would say. I mean, you're a little bit more free to leave the zone at times, and he's really good at that. You can't do that as a centerman, so he's got to be a little bit more responsible in certain situations of the game.
How do you
Players-
get him to sort of buy into that? He might sacrifice some offense by being more of the linchpin defensively as
For-
the center.
Yeah, good question. But for him, I think it's more of who he is, actually. Like, he's never been a guy that will, how can I put it, be front and center or flashy about the way he plays the game. You watch him without talking to him, even as a winger, he'll be that third guy high most times in the offensive zone. It's just his instinct. And I think that's what allows him to be a guy that we can use in the middle of the ice like we are now.
Did the players, did they all get a chance to meet Mika Kiprusoff today?
Most of them. He was around this morning a little bit. I know Jacob was pretty excited to meet him. So I think most of them met him this morning. Some guys were on the ice when he was around at times, so I can't tell you for sure if everybody did.
Are there significant merits to a meeting like that, or most of these guys never played against them? Or
Yeah. No, they know all about him. They really do. I mean, anybody that plays for this organization, there's some names that you know, and he's most definitely one of them. And, you know, for Jacob, there's a lot of great goalies around, but this is one guy as a youngster that he followed, which was pretty cool. And he's got his Kiprusoff jersey made up. He's getting it signed. Just really cool how he appreciates how good of a goaltender he was, and he actually did follow him when he was a younger guy.
Ryan, Andrew said tonight that this group feels like they've been counted out by a lot of people in terms of the playoff chase and everything that comes with it. Do you want them to embrace that? Like, can they use that as a rallying cry?
Sure. I mean, they can use whatever they have to use. I mean, we're in a spot where we have to win games, and if that works, it works. I mean, we like where we're going right now, and we have to stay competitive, and we have to find a way to keep getting wins.